proposed as a potential remedy for overcoming two key problems. Now, the first problem is separation of input from output. It means the teachers pay a lot of attention to receptive knowledge and skills, but do not give the students sufficient opportunity to practice their language skills and use them for genuine communication. The second problem is the separation of teaching a foreign language from fostering a person's character. That means the teachers pay only attention to linguistic knowledge and language skills without attention paid to a student's all-round development. Now, the teaching by the POA has already been proved to be effective by quite a number of experiments. Now, we hope more teachers in China to practice this new approach and refine it. Now, I'm afraid some of you are not familiar with the term POA. That due to the limited time, I give you a very simple description, which is easy for you to understand. Normally teaching, we start with listening and reading, which is followed by speaking, writing, translation, interpreting. In fact, in a lot of classes, teachers only focus on listening and reading without time left for students to do productive activities. Now the POA will reverse the order. And then the diagram will be like this. We said instruction starts with production and ends up with production. Input serves as an enabler to accomplish productive activities. Now here, listening and reading will help the students to do real communicative activities. Now, if you're interested in the POA, you may read two English papers here. I recommend it. And the other one is in Chinese. Now, driven by the above two motivations, in January 2020, we put the notice on the website. We plan to establish the first CC. Now, this is a notice on the website. It says, National Research Center for Foreign Language Education and the Foreign Language Teaching and Research Press will jointly set up a CC as a new type of professional learning organization of foreign language teachers. And the first CC was eventually completed by the end of 2021. Now, the second CC started from March this year and plan to be completed by the end of 2023. And the third one will start from 2024. Now, today, my talk will focus on the second one. Now, okay, what is the CC? And first, I will give you a model for describing a CC. Then I give you detailed information about second CC. Now, the model consists of 4 elements. The first, participants. The second, objectives. The mediators, and then mechanism. And these 4 elements are interactive with each other and with participants at the center. Okay, let's start with participants of the second CC. Now, the second CC has a wider coverage since we have recruited more teachers from less developed areas in China. Now, altogether, we selected 425 foreign language teachers from more than 600 applicants. They are from 130 universities located at 28 provinces, municipalities, and autonomous regions, now almost spreading over the whole country. And these participants are teaching different foreign languages, such as English, French, Russian, German, Spanish, Italian, Korean, etc. Now, in order to make our activities more effective, we put the CC members in the system, arrange them in the system. Now, altogether, 425 members. Actually, they consist of two types. The first 396 teachers, the language teachers, and 24 facilitators, plus one who serves as a person with overall responsibility. Now, I serve as such kind of person. And in which way we do it? We divided 396 teachers into 7 teams. Correspondingly, we divide 24 facilitators into 7 facilitating teams. Now, this is a kind of basic structure of the CC members. And these are the following are the facilitators of the first CC. Now I'm in the middle, you can recognize it. And now they are core facilitators of the second CC. You see, this is a first facilitating team. The first one is a core member. And the second and the third, fourth, fifth, seventh, sixth, and the seventh. And I will take the first team, for example. And for first team, it has about 50 teachers. And the facilitating team has got 4 members. The first one, who is the experienced facilitator, now I say that she participated in the first CC. The next 2 are the model participants of the first one, but now they are willing to be facilitators of the second one. The last one is a facilitator's assistant. And the 50 teachers are divided into 3 groups, with each having 16 or 17 teachers. We got 3 groups. So then each facilitator is responsible for 1 group. You can see this is kind of structure. And for facilitators, we have multiple roles to play. They are organizers, helpers, learners, and researchers. So we are doing research on this CC. Now, what we are doing, and we research on how to run a CC more effectively, how to become competent facilitators. Now, let's look at the objectives. Now, for implicit objective, because there's a long-term objective, we hope all the CC members, eventually they can become leading teacher researchers in their own institutions. And the explicit objectives, we would like them to become genuine PUA users and active PUA researchers. Now we translate explicit objectives into measurable or operationable tasks. Now later I will tell you in the mediators. So, okay, now the third one, the mediators. Simply speaking, the PUA theory, PUA teaching, and PUA research. These 3 are key mediators. Now, in order to make use of these mediators in the 2 years, we made a careful plan for 2 years. Now, the second CC started from March. So the first 3 months, we asked the CC members to design and evaluate PUA teaching plans while studying the PUA theory. Now, this is the first stage. And then in June, July, September, October, November this year, we asked them to practice the PUA and evaluate recorded PUA lessons. And then in December, we will have a conference. And also we have an annual summary. This is the first year. And the second year started from February, and we asked all the members to evaluate PUA research designs, then discuss and evaluate the drafts of research papers. And finally, we have conference and also in the graduation ceremony. So you see that these are 2 years plan, and we give to all the CC members to know how do we move on from one step from one stage to another, from one task to another. So we may also say these are very explicit objectives. Okay, then for mechanism, you see, in simple term, we may say this is a pull and push mechanism. And you see the pull is before push. Pull means encouragement, praise, help, and the push means we'll exert some pressure on them, will give them deadline. And then these two, the mechanism is working at two levels, emotion and cognition. And also these kind of mechanism is working for both facilitators and teachers. Now, I just give you very simple example, how can we push them? And actually all the members need to sign a contract before joining the CC on our own initiative. And this contract, the beginning part is bioinformation. And the second part, we give the very clear items which specify the responsibilities and obligations of facilitators and the participants respectively. So we have to observe these regulations. And now the how is the most important part. And how do we run such a large scale CC? And first of all, I will say, we developed a theory of interconnectedness in short we call TOY. And then I will talk about how do we implement the TOY. And finally, I will talk about strategies which we have adopted to implement the TOY. Okay, now the theory is not focused on today's talk because it is a little complicated. Now we go through several stages to form the theory of TOY. Now this is the exploration that it took us half a year from May to October 2020. You may see that this is the first CC. And then we have a theory construction, spend 2 months to construct theory. That's a theory we call the version 1. And then we applied the first version to actually the first CC. And this is the application stage. Now that's a reflection and refinement. We would like to have a version 2. Now this is from this year until the next year. Sorry, that's a 2023. We will need the 2 years. Now, what is the theory like? Now, the diagram, sorry, I don't know what happened to that. The diagram of the TOY includes 2 circles, the inner circle and outer circle. Now, the inner circle presents the 3 interconnected hypotheses. Now, you see, look at that. Cognitive interconnectedness and a social interconnectedness and an emotional interconnectedness with the problems as a node and which could link all these 3 together. And these 3 hypotheses should work together to maximize the effectiveness of online learning. And the out circle demonstrate 3 closely linked phases. Now, the first is called the preparatory activity, and then we move to formal gathering, and then we move to follow-up activity. Now, these 3 form a cycle of learning within a month. Now, these 3 phase activities are carefully designed and they're carried out with a good plan to implement CSE interconnectedness hypotheses. Now, I don't have time to talk about each hypothesis in detail, just give you a summary. Now, in general speaking, the closer the interconnectedness forms, the better the learning outcome will be achieved. The better the quality of the proposed problems based on specific tasks has, the closer the interconnectedness of three types will be developed. Now, the higher degree the alignment of the three hypotheses at the three phases occurs, the more likely the desired outcome will be achieved. Now, actually, the toy does not have anything unique. You see, we've understood learning is complex, and so we need different dimensions to work. For example, you see, different learning theories have already emphasized different aspects of learning, such as cognitive, emotional, and social dimension. And more researchers would agree that learning is a complex phenomenon which involves all three aspects if effective learning is a desired outcome. And for the difficulty is how to reach such an ideal learning situation. So to construct theory is not that difficult. Now, I would say this is not pure theoretical problem. Instead, it's a theory application problem. How to apply theory to practice. So here, now I would say the focus of my talk today is to discuss the strategies that can help decide key problems as a powerful node that is conducive to establish such interconnectedness. Now, how we can increase CSE interconnectedness in three phases of activities. Now, I would like to give you an example. The activities in July, which just happened last month, 2022, for example. Now, task with problems. What is the task? Now, all the CC members are expected to read Jing's teaching plan and watch the video clip by the POA. Now, by the way, Jing is a Chinese teacher who is teaching Korean to the Chinese students. So later on, I will show a little bit of the video clip. Now, they are expected to solve the following problems. Problem 1, do you think the teacher followed the POA properly? Do you have any suggestion for further improvement? And then, do you think this is a good example of an online or offline hybrid teaching? Because Jing claimed that they used the hybrid teaching mode. If you were a teacher, how would you do? Okay. Now, brief description of Jing's recorded lesson. The scenario: a Korean student who comes to study in China, who needs someone to tell him how to use the apps to do shopping, order meals, buy train tickets, etc. Therefore, this Korean student asks you for help. How do you explain to him? Now, the 22-minute video clip has been recorded, the initial part of the POA, not the whole lesson, just 22 minutes. And one thing I would like to add, these students actually, they enter the university with zero knowledge of Korean. So these students are beginners of the Korean learners. Now, these are Jing's lesson plan, and this is a Korean, and because the other teachers do not understand, we asked him to translate into Chinese. Now, all 6 pages are his lesson plan. Now, this is his recorded lesson.
자, 수업 12과 내용을 이제 시작하기 전에 여러분께 질문을 하겠습니다. 자, 스마트폰, 여러분 다 스마트폰 가지고 있죠? 스마트폰으로 뭘 할 수 있어?
Okay, due to limited time, I do not have time to go over all these video clip. Now, actually, this lesson has been carried out after the students have learned something online. The teacher has checked whether what they have learned from the online courses.
이상해.
Okay, now whole cycle of learning within July is like this. First, now before July 10, all the CC members have to carry out preparatory activity. And then we have formal gathering on July 16. And then we have follow-up activity before July 20. So you may see that this is a whole cycle of learning within July, within the whole month. And once we finished this whole cycle, then we move to the next month. Still, they have followed these 3 steps or 3 phases. Okay, let's see what we have done during the first phase. Now we give them lesson plans and video clips and also problems. Ask all the CC members to do individual learning. That means they have read the lesson plans and watch video clips. Now, by the way, the video clips and we give the subtitles with Chinese because the lesson is in Korean and other teachers do not understand if they do not understand Korean. Okay, they start with the individual learning. And then the second step, once they finish the individual learning, they go to their groups. I tell you at the beginning that the students are divided within each team, they divided into groups. And they have collaborative learning in groups. And they discuss and write down the solution and the puzzles in Tencent files. Here, Tencent is a social media. Now, just you may understand as electronic files. And then the facilitators will read their electronic files, which have been filled by the CC members. Then we design new problems for the formal gathering. And based on these new problems, we select the representatives from each group for preparing presentations for formal gathering. You see the 1 member, maybe from team 1, 1 member from team 2, and also facilitators also will select a representative to work together. Okay, this is the preparatory activities. Now let's look at the second phase, formal gathering. Now, formal gathering, we have 2 parts. The first part, I will be responsible for giving feedback to the reflective journals that include gains, problems, and suggestions, which will last about 1 hour. And then we move to the second phase. This is the most important part, doing problem-solving activities together. That will last about 3 hours. You can see that altogether 4 hours, it will almost the whole afternoon. Now, for the first part, now this is always the same page, PPT for all the CC members. You know, this is summary and feedback. Now, for this part, for the first part, I will talk about first facilitators' touch moments and the gains we've got from their reflective journals and also our reflections. The second part about teachers, the CC members, their gains, their problems, and their suggestions. For the problems, I need to give them feedback or provide them my answer. And suggestion, I will say whether the suggestion will be accepted or not. Now, let's look at the second part. And one set of problems, how do we carry out in real formal gathering? This is not lecture. You see, the first team representatives, at least one of them will prepare the presentation. So we got A and B, and then we also get C and D, E. Facilitators will add their answers or solutions to the previous kind of presenters' answers. And then we have interaction among all the CC members. Now, these members may put up the questions in chat room and without the preparations. So we may discuss their problems later once we finish the prepared presentations. Now, I will show you why we're doing this way. You may say that we got one set of problems, and then the first speaker might provide solution A, and the second one will add B to A, and the third one will add C to AB, and the fourth one add D to ABC, and of course that could be continued. So you may see that now the solution to one set of problems are becoming more and more comprehensive without any kind of repetition, so we can save the time. We call this strategy is a talk chain that likes making a snowball. So from this way, the answer will be more and more comprehensive. Now, at the same time, this interconnectedness will be strengthened. Okay, now let's move to the last stage, followed by activity. Now, formal one and informal one. For formal one, all the CC members required to write self-reflective journal individually. Now, the facilitators will read each reflective journal and give the written feedback to each member. And we post the journals on the website for mutual exchange and mutual learning. And for informal and the facilitators also, we will have a collective reflection through WeChat. And then we facilitators and the CC members will have communication through WeChat, or the facilitators and CC members also have communication through WeChat. Okay, we'll see we put the 7 teams reflective journals on the platform website, and these model journals will be selected, will on display for them to learn from each other. And then take this model essay journal, for example. You see, this is rather long. We have the gains, problems, and suggestions. The yellow color actually is highlighted by the facilitator, and the red color actually is the feedback given by the facilitator. Okay, we also have journals. Now, of course, these journals do not share with the teachers, so just among ourselves. And we also have WeChat after each kind of formal gathering, try to see is there any room for further improvement. Now, summary of the strategies at the first phase. At the phase of preparatory activities, the strategy of top-down and bottom-up interaction and collaborative preparation are used to identify new key problems for formal gathering. And at the second phase, the strategy of snowballing used to solve the problems now can strengthen the CSE interconnectedness. Now, the third phase, now the strategy of interactive reflection is used to respond to the concerns, worries, and anxieties of CC members, and the strategy of collaborative reflection to respond to the weaknesses in the previous activities. Now, overall strategies, I just try to summarize that, take measures in encouraging all the members to go through a full cycle of learning, individual learning, group learning, and then we learn among all the CC members. Finally, we have reviewing through reflection because we ask them to write reflective journals. And the next one, develop professional management. So we sign the contract on both sides initiative, having specific requirements on attendance and assignments, which are specified very clearly at the beginning. And now we make a careful plan for every cycle of learning to ensure effectiveness and efficiency. And we provide timely help and feedback to the CC members' concerns. Okay, concluding remarks. And how to run a CC effectively and efficiently needs more research. Our research is on the way. I think once we have finished the 3 CCs, our theory will be more matured. I believe CCs of teachers' professional development will be increased dramatically due to fast changes in high technology. If anyone who has innovative ideas, please share with me. My email is very easy one, Quifang, then bfsu.edu.cn. Thank you very much. That's all for my talk.
Thank you, Professor Wen, for a very inspiring presentation about how to develop cloud communities of foreign language teachers in China. Well, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid we don't have time for the question and answer session. Let's give once again a big applause for Professor Wen.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
Okay.
you,
Okay.
for attending the session. And this
I will.
session. Thank you, Professor Wen.
Okay. Okay.